Okay, mic intro on the ZV427. Well, I've got a repeat customer with a different unit, so he must be happy with my work. And it's another Magnavox and another ZV427MG9. And a note. Let's take a look at the note. And it's from Mike in Burlingame, California. Dear Steve, here is another ZV427 for diagnosis and possible repair. The unit is dead. Likely a power supply fuse thing. But because it won't go on, I can't tell you in detail what else might be wrong. This may be the unit that had a noisy fan. Another possible suspect is the VCR side eating tapes, which has been a fairly common problem with these units, at least in my experience. Anyway, I know there's a long queue ahead of me before you get to this, but I'd rather fix these things rather than contribute to electronic waste if it's possible. By the way, your repair on the first unit I sent seems to have been perfect. Thank you. Best, Mike. All right, let's go ahead and power this thing up and see what happens. Okay, 2. Check, check, check. Okay, over here at the Syncor PR57, I've got it plugged in. Let's turn the power on and see if we see any current draw whatsoever. And I see absolutely nothing. Looking back at the unit, I have no clock display, and I have no LED indicators whatsoever. Okay, let's tear into it and see what it looks like inside. Okay, here is the inside view of. Okay, top is off, and I'm not sure what kind of science experiment is going on inside this thing. But, yeah, that's all I can say is, yeah. So it looks like it's been sitting up on its side because of all the dust accumulation on that side. And, well, a little bit on that side, but maybe the top's been off for years? I'm not sure, but nevertheless, yeah. That's like the best response I have is, yeah. Okay, I think I'm going to have to take this out and blow it out at a minimum. This is a first. As far as I can tell, the fan's not bad. It turns freely. But maybe the top's just been off of this thing for, like, ever? Okay, let's give it some bursts of air and see what happens. Okay, after cleaning, check, 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 check. Well, after blowing this thing out, it doesn't look too terribly bad. I've done a couple of just quick diagnosis. Cylinder barely spins whatsoever, so I'm not sure what's going on there. It's very tight, and it's had a lot of use. Let me zoom in on this and see if you can see it. All that gunk, that's tape oxide that's built up on the lower drum. But other than that, it doesn't look too terribly bad, but I did see this one loading post, the exit loading post, I think it may have a broken part because it shouldn't be that loose. Now compare it to the entrance loading post. That's all the farther I can move that one. So it should have a couple of pieces that go underneath the bar right here. Hold it in place. And I think these are missing. I think it's been physically damaged. But let's go ahead and pull the power supply out of this unit. But let's go ahead and pull the DVD out of this unit and take a look at the power supply and see what we see. So here's a scrap mechanism that I have, but it has a good loading post, and you can see the amount of deflection that it has when I try to move it back and forth. And then if I look at the bottom of the unit right here, you'll see it's got these little plastic tabs that hang over that keep it from actually rocking. So you got those two tabs right there, and then on the top side you've got the base, and then this acts as the other two tabs. So totally you've got 2 tabs on the bottom and 4 tabs on the top that keep this thing from moving whatsoever. And if I compare it with the customer's unit, now of course on this one I don't see light coming through the bottom of it, but you can see how much it actually rocks forward. So, oh, there's the problem right there. So if I compare this one, it's actually the top that's broken out of it. So right there where that little, it's a backwards N or a Z possibly, I'm not sure. Right there where you see that, if I move my good unit into position, you'll see this has a complete plastic piece there, and this one is completely missing. So, okay, here we go. DVD player is loose. Let's just go ahead and lift it out of the unit and see what we see down here. And I see a bunch more crud, definitely. What about that fuse? I'm thinking the fuse is definitely open. All right, check continuity on the leads. They're perfectly fine. And I get 1 point, and I get 14 megs. Fuse is open. So, first thing I suspect when the fuse is open is this snubber cap right here. If that cap goes bad, it will cause the fuse to open upon power up. So let's go ahead and pull the power supply board out of this unit, which is done with these 4 screws right here, and just remove this one cable on the very, very bottom of your screen. So just grab it and lift up gently, just like that. It'll come unplugged. We'll pop those 4 screws out and look at the power supply. Well, the fuse definitely is blown, but it's not violently blown. It doesn't have a bunch of black marks on the inside of the glass. It looks like it just momentarily received overcurrent. Because typically if you've got a dead short, this thing will go black on the inside. So I don't quite know what to say on this. Try to clean the glass just a little bit so you can get a better look at it. You can see it did open. It did get hot. And this is a slow blow 1 amp fuse. So I'm thinking I'm just going to put another 1 amp slow blow in here and see what happens. It's a possibility the customer may have had a brownout, and low voltage will cause excessive current draw on a switch mode power supply. So that might be all that's going on with this thing. I did check the main filter cap and the snubber cap, which I'll show you real quickly. So the main filter cap lives right here, and I see 0.14 ohms, which is perfectly fine because it is a 220 microfarad at 220 volts, and I'm perfectly good with 0.1 ohms. This is the snubber cap. It's a 10 microfarad capacitor, and it checks 2.9 ohms on a 10. That's very good. No issues there whatsoever. I did go ahead and take a look at the main 3300 microfarad cap, and it does read 0.04 ohms, which I'm perfectly fine with. A couple of the other caps on here, 0.07, these are different power supply filter caps. 0.04, great. Normally I have problems with these. 0.3, nothing wrong with that. And 0.58, perfectly fine. So I think I'm just going to throw a fuse in this thing and try to power it up and see what happens. Okay, here we go. Power up with the new fuse. Okay, so I do have a new fuse installed in the unit, and I did reconnect the power connector right here. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this into the Variac. Let's go ahead and verify output volts is 125 volts or thereabouts. Okay, we'll put it back in the current mode. Power off, plugged in, and we'll try to do this simultaneously. You can watch that fuse and see if it's going to blow. And by all outward appearances, everything is perfectly fine. I don't see any issues. And I do see a clock display. Let's go ahead and hit the power button over here. It does light up, and oh, listen to that fan. He is correct. The fan is noisy. And no, it's not because something's touching the fan. It's just a noisy fan. Okay, let's flip this thing back down, the DVD player that is, because I have it sitting up here upside down. These will not successfully power on if the DVD player is not connected. So I'll put some screws back in the power supply. It's just kind of sitting here loosely right now. And we'll try to see if it's going to play a disc first, and then we'll see if it's going to take a tape. I don't see how it's going to load with that bad loading guide. Well, you can't really see it right now, but yeah. We'll see what happens. Capture device set up and recording in 3, 2, 1. And it says it is recording. Okay, let's go ahead and open the DVD drawer. It does actually open. And we'll close it. See if it's going to try to read this disc. I have not cleaned the optical pickup at all. And it says no disc. Well, I think we're going to have to clean the optical pickup before I do anything else. Okay, let's do that real quick. Well, there is the optical pickup, and yeah. So, yeah, used a lot of yes on this unit. Here's what it looks like with the flashlight. And, yeah, all I can say is yeah. Okay, cotton swab, glass cleaner, you know the routine. You've seen me do it before. Cotton swab just moistened with regular household glass cleaner. Nothing with ammonia because it will strip the optical coating. And we'll go ahead and wipe this in circular motions with a very, very light downward pressure. Then we'll go ahead and dry it off at the same time. Same thing. Circular motions, very light downward pressure. And all I can say is much better than when we started. Yeah, much better. Okay, let's throw this thing back together and see if it recognizes the disc. Okay, here we go. DVD playback after cleaning, sorry. Video capture in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, after DVD cleaning, let's open the drawer, pop a disc in it, and at least this time we see loading, but I still have no movement whatsoever. Not even trying to load the disc. And I didn't see, did it pop up with no disc? Let's try it one more time. Maybe it's got a bad motor. Nope, says no disc. Well, that's certainly not good. Okay, I'm going to do a bit more investigation into this DVD drive. So here is the schematic for the spindle motor drive, the turntable motor drive on the DVD unit. You can see over here is the sled motor, focus activator, tracking, and tilt actuator drive. This is what I'm concerned with right here, pin 28. So if I follow that back, it does supply this chip with power, and we know the sled motor does work because it opens and closes the drawer correctly. So if we follow that back over, it goes up to right here, the ever 10.5 volts. And then we want to look at the power on 5 volt source also, because it comes over here and off the screen. So here is a schematic for the spindle motor or the turntable motor drive for the DVD unit. And so I want to look at pin 28. It goes through these, there's three 1.2 ohm resistors, and it comes back here and it goes up to the ever 10.5 volt supply. And also I want to look at the VCC, which is the power on 5 volt supply right there. So pin 28 and pin 25. I want to make sure we have the 10.5 and the 5 volt supply to the spindle motor drive. So I'm on pin 28 right now. Power is removed. I'll go ahead and apply power, and we'll see if we see 10.5 volts. I'm going to put this in the 60 volt DC range, and I do see 10.9 volts. That is perfectly fine. And it did close the drawer and load the mechanism up. And then I want to look at pin 25. Which is going to be right there. I'll turn the power on. And I do see 5.04 volts, perfectly fine. This thing should play a disc with no problem. And I want to look at the power save command on pin 23, I believe it is. Yes, pin 23. Power this on. And I get 3 volts. And then it goes off. 3 volts comes back on. It should be trying to read the disk right now. That enables the output chip to run. And it's perfectly fine. Has to get no disk rotation whatsoever. So disk out. Disk in. So next thing I want to do is go ahead and try to fold this over and see if I can actually see the red laser illuminate on this unit. Is it trying to fire the laser? Okay, so I do have the lights off. The camera is in automatic gain right now. And let's go ahead and power this thing on. And I'll open the drawer. Then I'll close the drawer and we should see a red light in the laser. And I see nothing. It's not even trying. Let's try it one more time. Drawer open. Drawer closed. It's not even trying to focus. Not even trying. So we should have seen some kind of red LED or red light coming out of the laser, especially with the lights dimmed. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with the DVD drive on this unit, but I wanted to go ahead and check out the VHS portion and see if it's going to play as well, so I can give the customer an accurate estimate. Now, because it does have this broken loading post, I'm going to have to help it load. I've tried this a couple times off camera and it gets stuck up right here and it doesn't completely load. So let's go ahead and load this. And nope, and the mode switch prevented us from loading that time. So go ahead and crank the tape back in here. Power the unit back on. It does need the mode select switch serviced. There it goes, started the cylinder. And I have to help that loading post load. And it did not want to play that time. Powered up, it should eject the tape. There it goes. And yeah, mode select switch needs service, but I want to do a complete diagnosis on this unit. So it did power down. I will power it back up. And repeated tries should clean the mode select switch adequately. And nope, not going to work that time. I mean, come on. I just had this thing working off camera before I started recording. Power it back on. I swear this is going to work. There, it worked that time. Load. Helped it. It loaded completely. And there it's actually playing. But we got a big noise band in the bottom of the picture. Hopefully the video capture device is still recording. But what happens is it shuts off after a few seconds. And so I believe it's got a defective rear rotation sensor. And it stopped recording. Of course it did. So we'll try it one more time. Helped it load. Video capture is recording. And it's not going to play. Wonderful. Okay. Well, I can't make this work. But this thing's got some problems. So I think at this point, I'm just going to estimate to the customer, we got something going on over here in the DVD drive. It will not activate the laser on, and it will not activate the focus. That's a big issue on a DVD unit. The VHS, at a minimum, needs this tape guide replaced, because if I don't help it, pop the tape out, and I'll show you exactly what it does if I don't help it load. As you can see, the tape guide pulled up at a weird angle right there. And it's actually trying to play right now. Of course it is. Why would it not? And it's taking the tape over the top of that tape guide. And yeah, not good. So at a minimum, a replacement tape guide, mode select switch cleaned. And I do have a DVD unit out of a scrap machine that does not want to record. I think it's got a bad capacitor in one of the coupling caps, little ceramic capacitor. And I think I can repair that one and maybe get this thing back on the road. But I want to just test the waters on this customer and see if he wants to invest anything into this unit before I go too terribly much farther. Anyhow, that is diagnosis on the ZV427 that's been rode hard and put away wet way too many times. In addition to a noisy fan back here also. Go ahead and leave me a question, a comment, a concern down below, good or bad. I try to respond to the comments when I have time. While you're down there, I really would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and like this video. It does help my channel grow immensely. I do very much appreciate it as well. You can follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at NorCal715. You can email me, NorCal715videos@gmail.com. That is the best way to contact me. Please be patient. I do have a full-time job, and I do these repairs in my spare time. If you try to contact me on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, please be aware it might be weeks or even months before I get a chance to respond. I really check those messages. Please, if you want to contact me, use the Gmail address only. Remember, with your help, we can try to keep these things out of the landfill, out of the recycle bin, and out of the e-waste facility. Everyone, thank you for making it to the end of this very convoluted diagnosis video. I really do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. Once again, thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.